Hello, welcome to the webinar series, Understanding the New Charter of Aged Care Rights. This particular webinar is focused towards the workforce and how to prepare, for the implementation of the new Charter of Aged Care Rights. And this is proudly brought to you by OPAN, the Older Persons Advocacy Network. We really understand here at OPAN that your time is extremely precious and your participation and specifically your voice is very much appreciated, and this will drive aged care services into the future. My name is Marie Montgomery and I shall be your facilitator today, and then over the other webinars and also our 12 community events coming up to a city near you. I'd like to take this particular moment to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, on which we are meeting here today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to elders from other communities that may be joining us in this webinar today. By attending this particular webinar, and you will learn. Sorry, I was nearly going to do another segue, but then. So by attending this webinar, you'll find the key changes to the Charter and the benefits for change, what it means to the aged care workforce and your consumers when we actually bring in the Charter in July 1, timelines for implementation, how to have the conversations with the aged care consumer about the rights of the Charter, signing requirements, lots of discussion on that, consumer responsibilities, and what you need to do to prepare to get ready, and how we can help you get ready. That's probably the most important. Now, let me come across to the fantastic panel. Yay! So I have Pat Joyce, welcome. So, Advocacy Manager at Seniors Rights Service.
Yes, hello everyone.
And Craig Gear, the CEO of OPAN.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes. So this is the opportunity you get to talk about yourselves a little bit and what your roles are. But I guess also really specifically, what brings you, or what are you so passionate about in regards to aged care? Pat.
Thank you. So I manage a team of 8, including myself. And we're scattered around regions of New South Wales, and we're available to help all the care recipients that you look after and provide services for, with information about their rights, advocacy, the complaints process, anything at all about the services and care they receive. So I enjoy empowering older people who call us and give us some information, and usually they can go back to the providers and the frontline staff yourselves.
Yep.
And and you have all the answers for them, and things are sorted out straight away. So it's very rewarding, helping a lot of people, navigate the aged care system and get results to improve their situation and be heard.
Yeah, that's a great job. It's a big role.
It is. I love it.
Yeah, you can see you love it. Good. Craig.
So my name's Craig Gear. I'm the CEO of the Older Persons Advocacy Network, which is the provider of the Commonwealth-funded National Aged Care Advocacy Program. So Seniors Rights Service in New South Wales is our New South Wales member and what we call service delivery organisation. But we've got 9 organisations that are members delivering NACAP right across the country, 1 in each state and territory and 2 in the Northern Territory. So those are the services that provide information, education and support.
Mm-hmm.
People who can walk alongside the older person and their family to help them understand the aged care system, but also to raise issues with aged care providers when they occur. We work, I suppose, in collaboration with the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission, but we're independent of government, of aged care providers.
Okay.
And we provide a free service. There's a 1-800 number, 1-800-700-600, which gets through the advocacy service in the state and territory that the person's located.
So that's a national number.
It's a national number, yeah. Yep.
Fantastic. Great.
8 till 8. It's open Monday to Friday.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you both for sharing that. So just to let you know out there in webinar land, and thank you so much for joining us, that we are utilising a live platform here, but it will be recorded for educational and ongoing requirements. So, it's all available on the OPAN website. And you can share this as much as you like. So if you know that there's somebody that wasn't on the roster today that would love to see this, and also in community services, you might not see them very often. This is going to be on the website available for you for education. We're also having chat Q&A today. Look at us, Q&A. So there's a little toggle in the upper right-hand corner for chat, and I will receive your questions. And we've had some really good input from the other webinars, and it's showing us, I guess, a little bit of what's out there and what are some of the concerns. So if we can help answer some of that today directly, then absolutely let us know. I guess first and foremost, OPAN. Who is OPAN? I mean, is this a new-ish area, service, or, tell us a bit more about it.
So OPAN's been around since March 2017, and I suppose the 9 members that I was talking about before had been talking to each other, but now have formalised that relationship.
Okay.
And have been now delivering the aged care advocacy program through our services. So we each have them as subcontractors delivering National Aged Care Advocacy Program. But the services themselves have been around for around about 25 to 30 years. So Seniors Rights Service used to be known as TARS, or WADA in Queensland, Advocacy Tasmania. So they're all slightly unique and different in how they provide the WARP service they're providing, because they might provide some community legal services as well. But they've got a great track record of supporting older people and helping them have a voice.
Yeah, and that's what it's about today. It's having that voice, isn't it? Beautiful. So, as you're all aware, 1st of July 2019, the Australian Government is introducing the new and simpler Charter of Aged Care Rights. And this will replace the current 4 charters of rights and responsibilities. So I guess to both of you, and if you wish to talk about it first, Pat, what is the new Charter of Aged Care Rights? And then I guess, Craig, why is OPAN involved in this?
Well, the government has developed a new charter which is simplified.
Yeah.
It uses clear, plain English, and it asks the provider to sign, explain the rights to each care recipient, consumer, and then sign it to say that they have done this, and then they encourage the recipient to sign as well. Now, they don't have to sign. It says around the back that you don't have to make them sign or insist they sign, and if they're comfortable, they can. And it may take a few conversations before the older person or even their representative is able to sign. We'll talk about that later on.
Yeah.
So it lays out the rights more simply.
Mm-hmm.
The responsibilities are contained elsewhere, but just not on this particular document.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think it's important, particularly at a time where there's a Royal Commission looking into the quality and safety of aged care. And OPAN itself and a number of the other peak organisations were actually asking government to not stop doing aged care reform just because there was the Royal Commission on. And this is an important part of that. So the fact that there was a new quality standards that come in from 1 July, this is part of that. It complements and supports the new quality aged care standards. It's important that people understand that just because they come into aged care doesn't mean they lose their rights as an older person or as a citizen of Australia. And we might think that being in the industry or being aged care workforce, of course that's the case.
Yeah.
Of course we respect people. But
I've always had rights.
I've always had rights, but it's also very important that people to realise that there's a bit of a power differential between provider and care recipient, or provider and the older person, and that can be quite disempowering. Here's something that actually helps us have a conversation with older people and between older people and providers that says, no, you are at the centre of care. We do recognise your rights,
Yeah.
and we're going to uphold those rights. We're going to help you and support you.
So this is really giving you an opportunity for the consumer, the resident, there are many different terms, to drive their own aged care service, to have a voice in their own aged care service. Would that be appropriate? Yeah.
They do if they understand their rights
Uh-huh.
and that they have choices,
Yeah.
that they're accepted as an individual. I mean, a lot of these points are included in the old charter as well, but it's very clear that it's all about the older person. And in the new standards, there's the graphic with the older person right in the middle with their respect and dignity and individual needs. And from there, with this conversation with the provider and frontline staff and the older person, their family, you're going to get to know things about the older person that you may not have known before.
Yeah.
If you've been in your service for 15 years and it's new, or a new client who's coming to join your service and receive care and services. So you'll get a great opportunity to learn about them. And from this, you'll talk about a care plan and what their wishes are. So, there's other documents which this will inform as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And OPAN is really involved with this because our services have been standing up for the rights of older people for 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
And advocates such as Pat have been using the Charter to say, look, you are protected to the older person, and also to say to providers, hey, you could do a bit better in this area.
Yeah.
And having that as a framework and a tool. So it's natural, I think, for us as a new charter comes up as OPAN to be spruiking this and to be encouraging the aged care workforce to actually get behind this and understand that it was there before, but this is just raising it and making it more, I suppose, explicit that these rights are there in an important time for the aged care workforce, important time that people have confidence in you as a workforce. You are the unsung heroes, and work very hard. And this is a way, I suppose, of showing that there is respect out there.
There's respect,
yeah.
Absolutely, totally. And Pat, you're absolutely spot on. This is an opportunity for this lovely relationship between the consumer, resident, and the frontline workforce and providers to really open and unpackage this unique individual who is just this wonderful kaleidoscope of history, events, and memories. And I think it's quite an honour to be part of that. Excuse me. So the consumer is obviously at the centre of the Charter, and it gives them choice, and it recognises that they have the right to be treated with respect along with all the other 14 rights. So as an advocate, Pat, how does this Charter support consumers with their integral rights? And I guess, will the Charter assist... Sorry about this. And I guess it's a good time to become an advocate, because you're going to be really busy.
It's a great time. We've been very busy. We've had an increase in the number of requests for information sessions, education sessions at aged care homes and for home care groups. So we can be part of spreading the word about the new Charter and how people can also raise any concerns. Access advocates, aged care advocates, and we can help them with raising all those little issues which will come up. Things will come up no matter where you work. Communication, food, all sorts of issues, laundry services, all that sort of thing. Staff training, levels of knowledge and skills, all those sorts of things will come up. And often there's just a conversation which is to be had, and there may be an explanation. All issues raised by consumers or clients aren't complaints. They're just concerns or things that aren't quite right, or a bit of confusion. So
communication is so important, isn't it?
Exactly.
It can be misinterpreted if we're not clear on what our expectations are, both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're unable to as well stipulate what your expectation is, you need someone like Pat here to be your voice and to be that conduit of communication between the workforce and the provider, consumer.
And we think with this document, when you have the conversation, also you might have to talk about changes you'll have to make to their resident agreements. So that might come, and there might be too afraid to sign a new agreement, or what have you, more confusion there. So there's more opportunities for you to refer your clients to us, and we can reassure them that this is part of the process.
Yeah.
Depends how your agreements are set out, whether you just remove the old charter of rights and insert the new one, as well as having it as a separate document. So there's more conversations where, think of us to help support the resident and their families and their representatives, understand the new process and what this is all about.
Yeah. New era. Beautiful. I guess just to clarify, what is an advocate?
So an advocate is someone you call to stand beside you and to clarify your issues, speak up for you if you need. And about 75% of our callers are the older person or their representatives. And we offer just gives them information that clarifies all their rights, responsibilities, and then they can go forth to the management and raise their concerns, or just get reassured and think, no, that's okay, everyone's doing everything right, no one's doing anything wrong, we'll leave it at that. So an advocate speaks up for people who can't speak up, and a lot of folks in their late 80s, 90s, years of age, can't speak up, or they're feeling very vulnerable, and there is that power imbalance. Staff often say, well, we love all our residents, and they're great, but from the older person's point of view, there is that power imbalance. Even some of the wording here, that using customer, consumer, they say, oh, we're really residents, so we can say, no, this is actually stronger words for you as a consumer.
Yeah.
Because you have consumer protection and consumer rights. So again, we could be in those situations where we can stand by the older people, give them some support, ongoing, no matter which part of the concern we enter at the beginning or the middle or the end. We sometimes work with the Quality and Safety Commission as well, to support the older person during that process of raising any concerns.
Great. Good on you. Thank God you're around.
And we're free and independent and confidential, so anyone can call us. Staff can refer clients to us, help them contact us in the first instance, and then we'll ask permission to get back to you to ask a question or help get you to help us help the client to resolve their issues.
So I might do a little plug at that point for some of the training that we've developed at OPAN.
Yeah.
There's some training on our website called Talk to Us First, and the Talk to Us First training is actually really from the perspective of both aged care workforce and the older person themselves about what the benefit of an advocate can be. So short 15-minute training session could be watched. Pre and post questions. We'll send you out a certificate, or Tom will send you out a certificate. Tom's our IT man, and he'll also helping with some of the events that we're doing. So that sort of actually unpacks how an advocate can help support people's rights.
Yeah.
And it's only once you've lost your rights, it's hard to understand what they are and the importance of them. It's when you lose them or you don't understand how to express them that they become so important. Once they're gone, it's hard.
And you're so right. Once that right has been infringed or you've lost it, it's then that you really realise just how important it was and how integral in your everyday life that could be, depending on the particular right it is.
I know that some aged care workforce have sort of raised with us their concerns about, this means that the older person's going to bash me over the head with this and blame me.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. I think it's one that was there already.
Yeah.
But it was just in 4 different places, depending on which sort of aged care you were getting.
Yeah.
The other thing is that this helps setting expectations and talking about expectations. That has to be a good thing.
Again, that conversation and awareness of the consumer, resident, and yourself, and your self-reflection in your practice as well. I think that's so pivotal for any carer or nursing staff across any facility, or Meals on Wheels, the person that delivers this, sometimes they're volunteers. It's a huge sector, so it's time to reflect, I think, and bring ethos into our practice every day and respect.
Yeah.
That's the other T-shirt. I think we're talking T-shirts before. Okay, so now I'm not texting, guys, on my phone. I'm getting your Q&A, and I've already got a few. I've got Fiona here. Can we go into a Q&A?
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Question for OPAN. Do you have cultural ethno-specific advocates? And working with non-English speaking background clients requires trust and rapport. And Fiona, you're so right. And it's if we don't, I think we need to.
Yeah. So a number of our organisations do have people from culturally diverse backgrounds. It's something as part of the NACAP framework that we're working on more and more. Aboriginal advocates in a couple of locations.
Right.
But there's more that we can do.
Yeah.
And it's really important that we work alongside the ethnic community councils and Aboriginal community controlled organisations where there might be specific cultural aspects that those organisations can do and work in partnership with us and do alongside the advocacy alongside us as well. So it's not an either or, and I think people need, again, it's about choice of people wanting from cultural backgrounds. We very much try and bring interpreters in for services. You work with interpreters a bit?
Yes, we do. We do professional trained interpreters. We're also independent and will translate appropriately and confidentially.
The cultural safety and cultural appropriateness and awareness is just vital.
Yeah, and it's collaborative. Like I say, there's some amazing resources out there in each of the peak bodies, websites. It's just a matter of pulling it all together. So Fiona, that was an excellent question. And again, your input will drive the resources that we create, the assistance that we can give. I've got one for Raylene. How are we required to store or retain assigned or unsigned charters? What would be required to be acceptable in an audit?
I'm willing to take this one. I've had a little bit of discussion with the Aged Care Quality Safety Commission particularly around the standards and those sorts of things. The requirement is on the provider in relation to this new charter to have explained it, to have then documented the actions that they've taken to explain that. So that might be making a record in someone's care plan or notes, wherever is the appropriate place for depending on the type of service that you are providing. Then making sure that you've actually got a copy and a record of the copy that you have taken and given to the older person and their family. And hence that's why that signing. We'll talk a little bit more about signing later, but it actually doesn't matter. There's not a requirement that it's the manager that signs it. It just needs someone who has been appropriately trained and has taken the effort to explain it. I think that's the biggest thing, is sitting down and taking time. It could be time over a number of sessions. That you've explained it, and making a record in the notes that's what you did. I think that's what people will be looking for, assessors. What efforts did you go to explain this?
Yeah, absolutely.
In a way that person can understand that works for them.
That's the key message, isn't it? In a way they can understand and works for them. Not for us. It's not for us anymore. I've just lost my thought again. We've done a few of these today. Alrighty. So the new aged care quality standards are also coming in on the 1st of July. A really busy time in aged care. How do they align with the Charter, and how do they impact and reflect on the provision of care?
Well, they do go hand in hand, and when older people will call us and say, well, do I have any rights? We say, well, you do.
Yep.
There's this one, that one, and that one, and it relates to certain the standards as well, the new 8 standards as well, including the 8th one, governance and senior management. So, all your rights are covered and filtered between this one and that one. They're all cross-reference, and we'll continue to help people who call us to understand that. And now in education sessions we'll go deeper. So they do definitely interface.
For me, it's like this
Support
is almost like the articulation for the
Yep.
older person, for the care recipient, of the standards of what they'll mean.
Okay.
What does this mean in practice for me?
Yes.
What can I expect? And things like, I suppose, where we've got a standard which is around personal care and clinical care,
Yep.
I see like right number one, I have the right to safe and high quality care and services. So if you're delivering good clinical care,
Yep.
good personal care, this is the articulation, those two things work
So you're meeting
together.
the right.
Yeah.
So one's what good care looks like, and
Yes.
one's the underlying foundational rights.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So therefore, bringing them out at the same time is very appropriate, even though it may be busy.
And I recognise that this is going to impact the workforce, the aged care workforce, who are so vital. But they are vital in actually upholding the rights and explaining them to people as well. But great way to empower staff, I think. What a great way to say that you're the custodian and the protector of someone's rights.
Absolutely. How lovely.
Privilege.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I keep saying that, and I get excited about it, and I'm a bit of a softie, and people go, "God, you really are quite passionate about it," and I am absolutely, as are many other carers out there. So let's get together and bring this in. Okay, so workforce out there. So I've been doing a bit of roving reporting, and we will be looking at a video that I created with the help of all the wonderful residents of Westmont, not all of them because there were 104 of them, but some lovely residents that were allowed me to film and just sit down and have the conversation. And it's about that, having that conversation, having the confidence to actually sit down and talk about rights. And we are actually asking all providers, frontline workers, anyone, residents, particularly residents, anyone in aged care, to actually video themselves talking about rights, or my favourite right. This also needs to be consented, doesn't it? We need to have the film consented, that the resident is happy to be filmed, happy to be on the OPAN website, and happy to be involved in the webinars that we are conducting for educational purposes. And so in that, we're trying to find innovative ways to actually assist with education and assist with having that conversation. So have either of you heard of any novel ways that other providers are putting in place to bring about the new charter?
I've heard morning teas.
Yeah.
Where the activities leader and manager will address people when they're nice and relaxed and open. A few family members will be there too.
Yeah.
So that's one nice social way of doing it. It's not just here, sign this. The government says you have to sign it.
Yeah.
It's much more approachable and it's a partnership. It's a partnership. What we agree, what you expect.
Mm-hmm.
So morning teas, residents meetings,
Okay.
and any opportunity at all.
Yeah.
Even having a what's the right of the week sort of idea. This week we're thinking about independence.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean?
Oh, I like that one.
Number 9 is independence. So the other thing is we are putting together. We've got these explainer videos that we'll see a little bit shortly.
Yeah.
And people have been talking about ways that they can get those out to people. Yeah. So I know that home care or CHSP may not see that person that frequently, but often there is a person like a direct care worker who's going out there. You could always take this out with you. Your copy, the booklet that's coming out from the government as well, supporting materials, and the explainer video. You could just go on your phone, on your iPhone or whatever.
Yeah.
Sit down with a person or an iPad. You go and make them a cup of tea. Have a listen or have a watch of this short video, and then come back and we'll ask if you've got any questions on it. So there's other ways that can be done that takes away from, I suppose, the impact on the direct worker. So all these supporting materials are there really to help you have that conversation with the person that you're supporting.
Yeah, absolutely. And for you guys out there, if you're doing something at the moment, quick text me during this webinar and we'll get that across.
Any ideas you've got?
Yeah, because others might go, yay, someone's had this great idea that's really applicable to us and that we can use. And that means thinking about rural, remote. I mean, Australia is so diverse and so amazing. So let's try and capture all of that, I think, as well. And let's help each other. Let's not isolate each other, and get rid of those silos. Let's start talking, not just at the consumer level, the resident level, but across all our profession, really.
Yeah.
Now, I have one again from Fiona, and she says, thanks. No worries, Fiona, it's a pleasure. Is there a commitment from the Department of Health to have the Charter translated?
Translations?
Yes, 18 languages.
Yep.
Should be available soon. And
good news is also that the booklet that the department has been working with the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission on, and I see it as a bit of a unpacking of the 14 to explain it with some case studies, some examples, talking about mutual responsibility. I've got rights, you've got rights, let's respect each other's rights. That's all in this manual that's sort of coming, or this booklet that's coming as well. That's going to be available definitely for download before 1 July. And the department's also said they're going to print up copies that can be ordered through the departmental website for resource materials. So we'll make sure that all those details are on our website on opan.com.au/charter.
That's the one.
And that will give you the information on how you can order those resources. So definite commitment to that. Our explainer videos, they're going to be translated into a number of different languages as well. So we're just working on that at the moment.
Yeah, so there's a lot of resources in play coming to you to assist I guess, really bring this in a manner that is easy to understand, and ultimately assists the resident consumer in aged care.
Yeah.
So,
and empowers the staff. That's what I think is really lovely about this. It empowers you about how you have that relationship and that person-centered care.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Because you do care, that's the thing. Then there's a bond over a period of time. You can't care for someone for 12 years or so and not create such a beautiful rapport. So, it's your voice we want to hear as well. Yeah. All right. Excellent. Lovely. So, just in case you are thinking of where to send that selfie or that video in regards to the favourite right, and any inquiries that you may have, it's at inquiries@opan.com.au. So we've given you quite a bit of information about sites and everything, but it's all really just OPAN website, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all there, easy to find.
Cool. Alrighty, so we're going to move on to do advocates also have a supportive role in assisting, I guess, managers and frontline workforce?
Yes, well, anyone can call us, especially to direct an older person or their families to us to explain all their rights and responsibilities and the role of advocacy and concerns, complaints and compliments, and the whole system of aged care. So definitely call on us. Remember that we're available in every state by telephone. It's a free call.
1-800 700 600. We also have a chat bot on our website.
Yeah.
So you can chat through that way as well. And you're there to stand alongside the older person, but help resolve issues and speaking to providers.
A lot of care providers do call us. Probably about 25% are just wanting to have a query or checking is this right. So yeah, that's right. So we'll talk to you as well. And if in management roles, if you have a more serious concern, we might refer you to your peak bodies. They've got resources as well. There are a lot of resources to help you promote these changes. There's been so many changes in the last couple of years. So been very patient with all of these.
Yeah.
So there's lots of resources. Also, we can support by, you can invite us to have an education session for your residents and families and groups of home care recipients and also staff. So, you need to know about this stuff and what we tell the residents, so you're very welcome. We'll have a separate session for staff. We can do online. There's all this online training as well. So you can really get a handle on how we can be helpful to resolving issues early, so they don't get to explode out of control. Yes, lots of negative things will happen from time to time, and we can be part of that first first attack.
Yeah.
And also that empowers the older person when they practice doing those little things. Then
Yeah.
when bigger issues come up, they'll say, "Oh well, yeah, what did you do last time? Oh well, I did this." And
Yeah, and they listened to me last time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think they'll listen to me again on this.
And there'll also be in-house, in-community conversation as like, oh, that Pat, she was pretty good. She helped me. You know, should give her a ring. What do you reckon? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
If not, you can make a complaint about us, and we can improve our service. So
Absolutely.
And look, we need to take that on board as well. Absolutely. That's exactly what it's all about.
And staffing issues, I mean, we might say, well, have a staff meeting. If there's issues that are niggling away, you're noticing things in your facility, in your service, bring them up too. I mean, we don't want to hear things when it's got out of control. You know, talk to staff, talk to your management, upper management.
Talk to us first.
Talk to us too, and
training.
join your union. You know, there's lots of support you can get as individuals and as a industry group as well.
Yeah.
Communication.
Beautiful, excellent. So thank you. These Q&A is coming in thick and fast, and I'm absolutely loving it. Raylene, again, thank you. She has already accessed the charter in Word. It's been translated in Word. I accessed these on the 15th of May. So good on you. You're in there. You're being proactive. Good on you, Raylene. There was one here, which Christine, I think I might need. Oh, hang on. There might be acknowledgement further down. Your question is, are advocacy sector staff trained in trauma-informed work?
Yeah, some of them, I mean, we're actually looking at sort of, at the moment, there's a project going on around the professional development needs of advocates.
Yeah.
But particularly at the Royal Commission, this has started to come up, that people wanting to raise their stories. We've actually got a service that's to help people who might not be ready to go to the Royal Commission and put their story in, but raise it. A number of our advocates have backgrounds in social work or allied health professions or nursing, or community work, and often that they have had some level of information around trauma-related services. We know often trauma does come up a lot.
Okay.
So it is one of the things we're looking at expanding our work in and our expertise in trauma-informed care and support, because it's definitely needed out there.
Fantastic. Well, Christine, that was a really, really, really good question.
Thanks, Christine. Yeah.
And again, this is what drives our education. If we know that there's a need, that there is an area that we're not covering, then if you tell us, then we can address it. But we can't address it unless you do. Excellent. Alrighty. So I'm going to actually go to the explainer video. I feel it's time. The explainer video is a great resource. It was created here by Travis for OPAN, and I think it is really a pivotal piece of your resource to have that conversation with the consumer. So we might go over to our IT guru, Tom, and start that vid.
From the 1st of July 2019, the Australian Government is introducing a new and simpler Charter of Aged Care Rights for those you provide services to, regardless of the type of aged care they receive. The people you provide services to still have the same legal rights as all Australians. The Charter of Aged Care Rights add to these and are designed to help put the focus on the consumer, giving them choice and making sure they are treated with respect. This video aims to help you understand their rights and what your obligations are as a provider of aged care services receiving funding from the Australian Government. Let's go through all 14 of the new rights of those you provide services for. They have the right to safe and high-quality care and services. They have the right to be treated with dignity and respect. They have the right to have their identity, culture, and diversity valued and supported. They have the right to live without abuse and neglect. They have the right to be informed about their care and services in a way they understand. And they have the right to have access to information about themselves, including information about their rights, care and services. They have the right to have control over and make choices about their care, personal and social life, including where choices involve personal risk. They have the right to have control over and to make decisions about the personal aspects of their daily life, financial affairs, and possessions. They have the right to their independence. They have the right to be listened to and understood. They have the right to have a person of their choice, including an aged care advocate, support them or speak on their behalf. They have the right to complain, free from reprisal, and to have their complaints dealt with fairly and promptly. They have the right to personal privacy and to have their personal information protected. And finally, they have the right to exercise their rights without it adversely affecting the way they are treated. As a provider of aged care services receiving Australian government funding, you're required to help those receiving your services to understand their rights and within the timeframes allocated by the Australian government. Consider the tools available to help you, like those provided in multiple formats and languages by advocates like OPAN, including a video like this one made for aged care consumers. Sharing the rights brings a great opportunity to open up a new dialogue with those you provide services for, including their family, friends and carers. This can help you better understand their needs. The new Charter works together with the new aged care quality standards, also starting 1 July 2019 to support quality outcomes for consumers. While people receiving aged care have these rights, they may need to be reminded that others have rights too, including you. Everyone should feel safe and respected. They may also need to consider any existing care agreements previously made with you. When you give your consumer a copy of the rights, you must have signed it. This shows that you understand their rights. If they're comfortable doing so, we encourage aged care consumers to sign their rights. By doing so, they're showing you that they understand and recognise their rights. Consumers don't have to sign, however, and should receive the same care and services regardless of them signing or not. If your aged care consumer is not comfortable signing, or they have concerns about their rights not being upheld, they will be encouraged to talk to you, their friends, family or carer, or for independent help to contact OPAN, the Older Persons Advocacy Network, on 1800 700 600 or by visiting opan.com.au. If you have any concerns about the rights of those you provide services for not being upheld, please discuss this with your manager. Or if you can't resolve the issue, you may anonymously raise a complaint to the Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission by calling 1800 951 822 or by visiting their website at agedcarequality.gov.au. Remember, if you would like more information or tools to help you share the rights with those who receive care, visit opan.com.au. The Charter of Aged Care Rights, proudly shared by OPAN, the Older Persons Advocacy Network, and quality aged care providers across Australia.
Okay, welcome back. What a great explainer video. I just love those characters. They slowly have come alive, haven't they, over the time, which has been a very short time that we've been creating these. Excuse me. So I think it's a great video to be able to sit down and have as an explainer video for the 14 rights, which put the consumer at the centre of care.
And often probably starting the conversation.
Yeah.
I know some people go, oh, but how do you fit 14 rights into a few minutes?
Yeah.
But it's suppose they're trying to actually go, it's these sorts of things that it could mean. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to you as an aged care worker, that one? What does it mean to you, the person you're supporting?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I say, the tea room conversation is going to change a little bit too. Hey, what right is your favourite right? Which brings me to say, Pat, what is your favourite right?
It's very hard. And as an educated advocate, yes, informed, I would pick all of them. I don't want to not have any of those. But I stick to the first one, safe and high quality care and services, and that will envelop all the others, I think. That includes communication, pain management, mobility, toileting. So for me in my future, I'll pick that one.
Yeah. And
all the others would support that as well, treating me as an individual, independence, being understood. So, yeah, I'll still go with that first one.
All right, cool. Craig, what's your favourite?
Well, as the head of an advocacy service, you probably expect me to say number 11. But it was really important that people understand that they've got the right to have the person they choose to have walking alongside them.
Yeah.
That might be daughter, son, power of attorney, guardian, wife, partner of choice in life. It could be anyone, and it might change at different times as well. But it was also important what we saw that to get in there about that the person has a right to an aged care advocate. So someone like Pat, to be able to ring that person and ask for someone that's independent. We know that sometimes family dynamics can be a little bit tricky. Yeah, tricky is a good word for it.
Yep.
And so sometimes the older person gets enveloped in the family dynamics and discussions and those sorts of things, and everyone thinking they know best.
Yeah.
Having that right to be able to ring up someone else and just say, look, I want your independent voice here to help me.
Yeah. Navigate it.
Yeah.
And also embedded in the new standards are the concept of supported decision maker. So not necessarily someone apart from that. In different situations, you might want them, someone who knows you, or even the aged care manager or the staff could be the de facto or person that knows that person best.
Yeah.
And we've seen that over the years. So it'd be interesting to have your experience about what you feel is that. We often hear that, we don't really need outside advocates. We do our own advocacy. We know our clients best. So we say, well, you're the small A advocate. We're the large A advocate because we're trained to do this work.
Yeah.
And we're independent. You can't be an advocate for someone when you're also the provider or the staff. So you need to hand that over to someone, share that role. But sometimes you are the only one. You look around and think, well, I'm the only one to stand up for this person because they've got no one. So we can work with you with that as well.
Absolutely. And I think if you are that workforce where you are the only advocate and you feel like you are the only voice for those people, the consumers in the facility, then by all means, I think, get advocates involved because they have a lot of experience and a lot more clout as well. And the manager or the facility will have to comply with that. It's one of the rights, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Pat, you mentioned then supported decision making. I think it's important to talk about that. One of our member organisations, Advocacy and the ACT, has been doing a lot of work in this area. And it is important to recognise that people have the right to make choices and decisions for themselves, even like they may have some capacity or cognitive decline issues. That doesn't mean they can't make decisions about certain aspects of their life. And they can still take risks. And as long as those risks are informed, the implications of those risks are communicated and this is documented, that person can still make those decisions and choices. So recognising that change occurs and that people need to have a supported decision-making process so that they can still feel in control of those aspects of life that they can still control.
Yeah, and they're informing, everyone around them that this is what they want to do, but let's all come together as a collaborative to make the appropriate decision and choice. Yeah, let's not wrap on cotton wool.
Yep.
And for those tricky questions which we do hear and you share them with us about I want to leave the aged care home, I want to go home, I want to do this or that. If there are any grey areas that you want some support, remember to direct the care recipient to us. Say, look, there's an advocacy service, free, confidential. Why don't I help you ring them? And then you could step back and let the conversation go, and with their permission we can contact you and have the same conversation. Or you can even ring us first and check out what we're going to say, and if we're going to be helpful, and say, yep, go ahead. Get the older person to call us. So you don't even have to give us their name, just give us the scenario, and we'll give more support, especially the complicated things, leaving the facility, am I allowed to smoke, all those things. There's not a cut and dry answer. They want to take a risk. But we hear some great things around Australia, and like activities, people in South Australia, go deep sea fishing.
Great.
Apparently only for men.
Oh, that's not fair.
And there were a whole lot of residents in Victoria who did fly in a big helicopter around the 12 miles.
Oh.
So, people have never stepped on the milk crate before, all of a sudden they're in a helicopter. So things do happen, and they are supported.
Dignity and risk.
Dignity and risk. And other things you say, no, I wouldn't do that, or no, you need to listen to the experts, and we're never going to say, yes, you have an open slather, off you go.
Yeah.
There are responsibilities which are not on this page, but they are in other legislation, and we'll continue as advocates to talk about both. They both go together, as Craig said, respect, seeing the other side of things, a bit of a compromise sometimes. And within that, you could say, well, another facility has, open extended breakfast hours. Why don't we do that? So, you as an industry teach each other different ways to approach, opening up some freedoms of choice and giving as much choice as possible to the older people.
Yeah, so my right is number 7, and that's a bit of a control freak. But I need to have control over certain things, and that would be, staying in bed till, about 10, sorry guys, and then getting up and having my age and my dog next to me. So get ready. So we recently went, as I said, I'm going around in Australia and getting the voices of residents, because it's pivotal that we get their voice, because it will guide, I guess, aged care services and how we implement the charter. And I have been filming, and Westmont at Barranduda, do you know where Barranduda is? It's in Wodonga. It's a beautiful facility. Have allowed me to go in and spend some wonderful time with the residents and the staff there and talk about your rights. So I captured a snippet here on film. This will be available again on the website at OPAN. But I want your voice, your residents' voice, the interactions between yourselves, how you're implementing the charter, and so that I can put it up, and we'll probably present it at Bankstown, which is sort of the kick-off, because it's just before the 1st of July. So we might just watch a little snippet of this, and Westmont's doing, this is a novel way of having the conversation. There are many ways. Anyway, off we go.
All information about myself, including information about my rights, care and services. I have the right to control over and make choices about my care and personal and social life, including where the choices involve personal risk. I have the right to control over and make decisions about the personal aspects of my daily life, financial affairs and possessions. I have the right to my independence, like that. I have to be listened to and understood. I have the right to have a person of my choice, including an aged care advocate, support me or speak on my behalf. I have the right to complain free from reprisal and have my complaints dealt with fairly and promptly. I have the right to personal privacy and to have my personal information protected. I have the right to exercise my rights without adversely affecting the way I am treated.
The provider has to, by law, sign for it. They have to tell you about your rights or provide information about your rights in a manner that you can understand. And as you're aware, across residential aged care, there are many different levels of capacity and ability. And so therefore we have to meet everybody's needs, not just one cohort of people. It needs to be done to everybody, or for everybody, I should say. So what would be your rights that you feel that you really need while you're here?
What was that?
That's right. Yes, I'm sure. Okay. And that's underlying it as well, isn't it? Like, we can be rosy and I can say, you've got rights and you've got a voice, but the reality is I leave here at the end of this session. Yeah.
And with Brian, I suppose the brain's still quite okay,
Yes.
but the body's worn out.
Yes.
And he's been a farmer and a very good sportsman.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he's in a room being lifted and, relying on the nurses to come when they need to go to the toilet, and if they can't come, and then he feels guilty because, they're all good to him. Yes, there's certainly are, but I just say it's just, and degrading for you, isn't it? When I say it's degrading for you, when you get to this stage when you've been so independent.
Everything.
Yes.
That's right.
And you appreciate that, but it's just, yes, it's a difficult situation.
Yeah.
For residents' rights, but we have to cooperate with staff and carers
Yes.
for the full final output
Yes.
and input.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that are looking after us, we must realise that they've got rights too.
Yeah, so there's also choices as well about who you would like to care for you. So if you would prefer male or female staff.
Or if you want to eat a particular type of food and you've been
Yeah.
told that you should be eating
That's right.
another
So,
type of food.
yeah, so if a speech pathologist has recommended you eat a puree or some type of consistency, but you choose not to, and I'm pretty sure Brian knows about that. That was Brian's choice to say no. He's aware of the risks associated with it, but that's his choice. So that will go down on this form.
Brian sort of can't write anymore because he has MS.
Yes.
And his problems are, he can't fill in forms, can't sort of do things like this, and it does make it hard.
Oh.
And as Laura's saying, he's had problems with the speech therapist. She wanted him to go on these thickened diets and that, which he can't stand. And I mean, I've been looking after him for the last 20, 30 years, and he's never choked yet on me, and I know what he can eat and all that.
Right.
But they were, saying no, he should be.
Yes.
See, he just dug his heels in, he hates
good
it,
on you.
and he wouldn't eat. So he's lost over a stone in weight, but now he's back to eating the ordinary foods. And yes.
I love Brian in that video. He's just amazingly funny and so real. That was heartfelt, that conversation that we had. So it just goes to show that I walked in there, I'd never met them before, that you can open up, that you can sit down, you can have this conversation, and you can gain, I guess, rapport and discussion quite easily.
Yeah.
Excellent. So we're getting in on time here, guys, and there's a couple of questions. You've got one from Yuli.
Yeah, Uli. Assuming that's how we pronounce your name.
Where can we download the explainer videos?
Yeah, good question. So the explainer videos come out next week. We're just doing some final little edits on the voiceover. You would have noticed the voiceover by Julie McCrossan.
Yeah.
Who's doing that voiceover for both the provider video and then there's a consumer video as well. So they'll be both up next week. The booklet, we'll keep a watch on that of when that's out and where you can order that from as well. some posters coming out from the government as well. But yeah, all that resource. We're also going to put like a little training package up there that's going to be a little PowerPoint presentation, a presentation that takes you through. So all those resources will be on at opan.com.au/charter.
Okay, beautiful, fantastic, thanks for that. There's also one here from Christine, and Christine, your questions are dynamic and nuanced to a specific area, and that's exactly what we're looking for, so we thank you for that. Is there knowledge of the advocacy needs of forgotten Australians, care leavers and stolen generations?
Yes, so the Department of Health has identified the 12 special needs groups, and they're very much in our thoughts when we receive calls from anyone in New South Wales and around Australia. So care leavers, stolen generation, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders living anywhere in Australia receiving services, people from cultural and language diverse communities, LGBTI, veterans, rural dwellers as well, rural and remote. So all these special needs are in the forefront of our minds when you call. We do write down postcodes and areas, and there are a lot of aged care services in right across Australia in lots of remote and rural areas. And in our education, New South Wales, I know we get around pretty regularly. Also, we can use other technology, Skype and things like that.
And speaking of those special needs, it's important that we do things in partnership with the expert organisations. Some of our advocates and stuff have got those same lived experiences. However, we don't purport that we know everything about everything. So I think it's really important that it's done with partnership, with collaboration, but also us looking at training for sensitivity and awareness of our advocates as well. And we're always learning.
We are, and we promote that, as Craig was saying about our professional development amongst our advocates in New South Wales. We do some culturally appropriate training, awareness training. We attend yarning circles and try to really listen to our elders in the areas that we serve and find out the issues that affect them. So we do what we can, and often it's difficult to access some communities who are isolated or marginalised. So we do use other partnerships and other groups and communities to spread the word and access these communities that haven't heard of us and are fairly new to aged care. It's not in their culture that they hand their elders and older people to someone to care for them. So
we've got to really be responsive to diversity, don't we? And that's number 3. So have the identity, diversity respected, and the services that respond to that as well.
Thank you for that question.
Great question. Christine. It's trying to put the two together. So let's talk about signing. So let's talk about who needs to sign, and is this a difficult process? I mean, it's the people watching today that will be actually sitting down and doing it. So are there any assistance with this, and what have we prepared to help with?
So there's the webinars that we're putting up. There'll be the training package. There are all those other resources that will be up there and available. I've been asked a few times about who can do the signing on behalf of the service provider, and it's anyone that's had a bit of training, I suppose. You need to actually have understood the charter yourself to take someone through it. So getting unpicking it, understanding what do the 14 mean. But the important thing is the charter from 1 July. So everyone should know it, but taking someone through it and by signing, what you're saying is you understand that this person has rights, and you're committing to respect those rights and uphold them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You talk about other people signing.
It might be an opportunity. It just says staff member. So I suppose you're assuming that they're care managers and activity leaders like that. But maybe all the staff can have little workshops and go through the process of actually one-to-one.
Yeah.
It's not just an anonymous thing that everyone, a blanket statement. It's individuals, one-to-one, and that you're promising them that these are the things you're going to deliver on your service. From all the trained staff and the AINs, everyone has a chance, even the maintenance people.
Absolutely. If they're the one that has the rapport, that has the trust, has had the training and understands the rights and the underlying principles of all of this, then absolutely.
Kitchen
And the
staff.
obligation is to explain it.
Yeah.
Sit down. So take the time, maybe take time over a couple of sessions or a few cups of tea.
Yeah.
And explain it.
May choose a resident you've never met before. I'm the cook, and I've hardly met any of these folks personally, so it might be an opportunity for anyone in different roles or the admin staff to go and meet people for the first time.
Yeah.
And like we said before, what you find out about the resident in these conversations
Great.
will lead on to the care plan and what needs to be included and who their significant people are in their lives, that sort of thing. And yes, that's opens a whole floodgate of
Opportunities. Opportunities.
and choice. It's all about choice.
And obviously, it's going to be up to individual organisations about how they decide to roll this out. Home care and community care, or CHSP, how that's rolled out. So, talk to your managers, talk to your organisations about any innovative ideas you might have.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So there is a timeline, isn't there, for this implementation? So, Craig, you want to...
Yeah, sure. So the charter is the charter.
The charter is the charter.
The charter is the charter from 1 July. So that means that this does come into effect for anyone that's newly coming into aged care, be it community care, CHSP, or residential care. 1 July, this charter takes effect.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are currently receiving aged care, there is a recognition that it might take some time to change over some funding agreements, to actually get out and speak to everyone. So for those in residential aged care, it is the 30th of September that you've got to.
30th of September.
For other forms of aged care in the community, CHSP, it is 31st of December. So there is a little bit of time, but I suppose what we're doing is saying we encourage people to start the conversation early. Don't wait to those end periods to get this done. Use this as a conversation starter over time. So important at this time to the workforce is engaging with the people, as you do every day.
Yeah.
As you do every day, and engage with older people. There's one more tool and opportunity to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Thank you. So we're now moving on to resources, and we've talked throughout the whole video about webinar, I should say, about resources and what's being developed. Again, we would ask you to put the creative hat on and think about some ways that you may feel that this could be brought in, some innovative ways. Let us know. But we have OPAN website, and we're putting together a little suite of resources. There's the Prezi, there's the this explainer video, which will be on next week, but also the step-by-step process. And that means we're not directing you to say this is how you have to do it, but just to think about an environment where you're having the conversation, time, don't rush this at all. Understand the charter before you actually have the conversation, because it'll come out that you don't understand what their rights are. Always remember, this is about the consumer. It's not about you and the consumer fitting into your time frame. It's about the consumer driving their own care and having choices in that. There is the Department of Health booklet coming out. Again, that'll be on our website. And there are also community events coming up. Yeah. So community events are coming to a capital city near you. I think the slide should be coming up with the dates, but I'll just quickly go over them. And they are a panel, again, similar, but advocates in that area, specific to that state or territory. There will be myself and Craig in some of them, and then we split to meet the need, I guess. So Melbourne, Ballarat, Albury. Hello, Albury, I want you to come. Canberra, Bankstown, Darwin, Brisbane, Adelaide. Hobart was in there as well. Beautiful Hobart. I was there not long ago. The Gold Coast, Cairns and Perth. So, yes, the OPAN website will have OPAN/charter, have the dates and the ability to register online. So please, it's free. next couple of hours, I will be filming interactions and getting your innovative ideas. There will be, lots of discussion and time for Q&A.
Yeah, and we want to see lots of older people and their families come along to it. That's the idea, is that this is a way, I suppose, of doing some of that discussion and explaining with a group of people. So why not do a day outing and come along to one of those events, starting off at Melbourne Town Hall.
Woohoo!
Come and have morning tea, bring a
Bring
group
us
of
food.
people with us, and come and help unpack the rights.
Yeah, let's be part of it.
Yeah.
That's what we really want. Absolutely. Just to let you know, will be CPD points assigned to this webinar. So we have your registered name on the Eventbrite. If you would like to email us at inquiries@opan.com.au, we'll send you a CPD certificate. Very important, those points. And one last thing, don't forget, if you're videoing and you've got a resident or someone that would like to have a voice, put it together so I can make a collage at the end, and that again is OPAN, inquiries@opan.com.au. And the consent. You must film the consent, otherwise I can't use it. Okay, it must be very clear that they're going to be filmed, they're going to be used on the website, they're going to be used. Their lovely face will be utilised in educational purposes going forward for perpetuity. Wow, that's it. That's a wrap, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Anything else you'd like to add?
Look, I just would say that we understand that this does have an impact on workforce.
Yeah.
But
really
we think that this is an important way to reset some of the conversations, build the trust and confidence in the aged care sector, tap into people like Pat as advocates, and take your time to take someone through this process. We'll be putting up the resources. We'll email you out as new resources become available. Get ready for 1 July.
Yep.
Busy time, but great and exciting time for aged care as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And support each other. We really need to support each other. There's some amazing people out there doing this pivotal work. Yeah. Anything from yourself, Pat?
No, thanks everyone. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely.
And if we could help in any way, do call us or direct the folks you're caring for to contact us and give a bit more support.
Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Thank you again for your time. We know how busy you are. And we wish you all the best. Take care.